Yeah, it's wild how, I mean, just connected to people you are without realizing that you've all experienced. If you lived in Carmel, you've all experienced something with one of their teams or some of their academics that is just like, whoa, this is, and that's the swim team for me, is just an incredible, really cool opportunity. But then also to be part of the best without having to be the best. I wasn't the best, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just a really fun experience for. How old was I when I started? I think I was 7 or 8.
Okay.
When I started, I was a tiger shark.
Yep.
At Carmel Swim Club, and then I was on and off with Carmel Swim Club from then until high school, and then I swam all the way through high school. So what I love is that it's so inclusive. You didn't have, it was a phenomenal program no matter what age you're at.
Yeah.
Whether you're brand new at 7 years old and are just trying to keep your head above water, or you're taking this all the way through college or beyond. But you could be whatever level and you were still welcome. That was one thing, and I'm not sure if they still do Carmel High School like this, but when I was there from 2000 to 2004, anyone could be on the swim team.
Yep.
Now, were you going to swim? Not necessarily. They had meets for everybody at some point. You did swim, but the fact that someone who's just getting comfortable in the water can share a space with a borderline Olympian athlete. I mean, some of those girls and guys on the teams over the years have been just, oh my gosh. But to know you can share that space and continue to grow and learn from them, but enjoy your time, is probably why I stuck with it. I wasn't the best swimmer. I worked hard at it, but I just loved the atmosphere and the friendships that I made while I was there from 7 years old to 18 years old.
That's fantastic.
You know, I grew up at 146th and Gray, so there was a pool. It's still there, Woodgate.
Yep.
And like I said, that's where we did our Carmel Swim Club stuff. But at the same time, when I wasn't doing Carmel Swim Club, I swam for the summer for Woodgate. I remember my mom getting us to that pool. I have a lot of younger siblings. They were not swimmers, but giving all of us over to that pool, and we would be there from when it opened at like 10 a.m. until it closed about 8 or 9 p.m. We would eat meals there. We would have friends there. So being around the water in a landlocked state, it was always a thing with my family. So not only just playing around the pool then, but really, I truly do remember 6 and under swimming. I remember that because you just had to make it halfway down the pool to the lane, or to the buoys,
Yep.
and then you were done. So having little goals like that, I can remember because I was so proud of myself when I could accomplish them.
Wonderful.
You know, I think it's that you always have something to learn. Even when you feel that you are doing as well as you can, there are others there that are always there to help you out, whether it's a coach. I had Tamisa, Coach Tamisa. God, she was fantastic. I'm not sure if she still coaches or not, but her motivation, she was constantly there for her swimmers. She'd be the first one to tell you you could do better, but she'd also be the first one to tell you what a great job you did. Having that kind of support as a child outside of the home gave me confidence to not only be confident in the pool with the swimming, but at school I had new friends to say hi to. You know, it wasn't kids that just went to Cherry Tree or just went to Clay Junior High. These were kids from all the schools that I would get to know and eventually meet back up with in high school. People that I probably wouldn't have been friends with otherwise, for whether it was location or whatever it was. But it was nice to be able to be brought together in such a cooperative and enhancing environment, where even if you were, like I said, the worst one out there, they were all still cheering for you. It didn't matter.
Wonderful.
So it was fun. I do like it.
Well,
I never did anything with it. I never did anything with it after high school. I'm not I couldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was not collegiate level, but all that time up into it. And it's funny, I still keep in contact with a lot of the girls. Now we all have kids, we all live across the country, we all do whatever, but we all got to come back to the high school when they did their Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
Gosh, my daughter was born, so probably in the last 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
that they did that, and going back and seeing everybody, but then seeing the new caliber of swimmers coming through, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What just such an awesome team to, 30 plus years of being the best. My gosh, you don't get there from being nasty and only having the best. You get there from, helping others, teaching others, and pushing everyone to be their best. So it was a good environment.
Wonderful.
The thing that my dad used to always tell me, and I appreciated this, was only do it so long as you're having fun.
Yep.
If you're not having fun with it anymore, take a break. Make sure it's what you want to be doing and get back to it. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to fail for a moment. It's okay to jump back on when you're ready. And knowing that a team like that is there with open arms is very helpful in making sure that, the people that are in the program are the right people for the program. For those looking to join the team, just know that it is demanding. It's incredibly demanding. But the payoff, whether it's a personal payoff of a great swim or a great meet or whatever, is there, but so are the other things. The friends that you will make, the places you will get to go and swim and see. I got to swim at Xavier College when I was, 14, 15 years old, just in a practice lane with all of them. But I would have never assumed that I would have had that opportunity if our team hadn't brought us out there to compete. So the places I've seen, even though it's just Midwest, and the things that I was exposed to and the friends that I've made were worth getting up at 4:45 a.m. in the frigid cold and driving out, and as we called it, the Trail of Tears, getting up that trail at Carmel High School, and convincing someone with a car to please drive us up to the top. It's hard, but I look back at it, and through all of that, it was so much fun and so good for me. It was completely worth those 4:45 a.m. drives.
Wonderful.
Exactly. And that was the other cool thing, to be honest with you, as an incoming freshman who was already nervous as anything to start at a huge high school. From North Central, they are huge.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's overwhelming in itself, but to know I was going in there with friends I'd already made from other swimming programs in the area was just that much easier to go in and say, oh, Tamisa, hey, I remember you from back when I did this, and then this friend or that friend. So it's been nice. It was really cool as a freshman to have the seniors or even the juniors take an interest in you. To walk down a high school hallway and have a senior say hi to you, the coolest thing ever when you're like 15, right? So
very cool.
It was a really inclusive program from an area of Indianapolis that doesn't always get the best rap for being decent, if you will. There's a lot of stigma attached to Carmel, and a lot of times you will see that we're the best because we're the best attitude, but a lot of times if you dig deeper, there's more compassion and empathy going on there. And I felt that way with the high school, with the swim team, Carmel swim team. I never once felt an outsider, even when I wasn't in the top 20 of the team.
Yeah.
So it was a very inclusive program, taught me how to be safe in the water, allowed me to grow as an athlete, but also managed my ADHD as a child. You know what I mean? It was a place my parents could send me. They knew I was looked after and being taught all that I would need to know to be safe in the environment I was in, while still having that energy bounce around in the pool and come home tired.
Yeah.
It really worked out well for everyone.
Good.
Well, after high school, I went to IUPUI and got my degree in paralegal studies, and I've kind of done that all over the U.S. My husband, although he's a Carmel graduate as well, he enlisted in the Navy shortly after we started at IUPUI. So I followed him around the country, and I did paralegal work in about 11 different states. We came back to Indiana and realized we're done with that cold. We don't need that weather. Let's move along. So we ended up here in Charlotte. I am still paralegal. I'm actually paralegal for chief counsel to an orthopedic hospital system here in North Carolina. And we have a 4.5-year-old who, her name is Marin. It means of the sea because we are such water people that child has been able to swim since she's about 18 months old. She's that kiddo that, you see them and they can float on their back to get the air to keep themselves safe. We started with that, and now at 4.5, she's looking for a team too here.
That's wonderful. So
yes.
Why was it important to you that your daughter learn how to swim at such an early age?
Well, first off, the safety of it. Being a paralegal, my first 5 or 6 years of being a paralegal, I did plaintiff and defense personal injury work. So I would see even, dog bites, trip and falls, but I would get the occasional drowning too. And on top of that, there was just pool safety in general. Don't sit on the drains. Don't, all these things that as a kid you want to play with. You want to poke around. You want to do all this fun stuff and explore. And you don't realize the dangers of it. So, having her realize that the pool is fun, but we need to do it in a safe way, has just always been in my brain. And I know that my mom started me at Carmel Rocket Club way back in the 80s. There was a thing called diaper dippers.
Yep.
And I was 6 months old in a diaper, and my mom started me on swimming. Was I going to be an Olympian? No. But she wanted to make sure that I could go into a pool safely, and not only have the paralyzing fear of water and what it can or can't do, but to trust myself in it. So it's so important for my husband and I to pass that along to our daughter to make sure she's not only safe, but having fun too.
Wonderful.
So